I'm at the age where a lot of high school and college friends are at the point in their careers where they're looking for a major pivot, and a few have seriously considered getting into real estate. They got the people skills, the drive, the passion for helping others, but as you can imagine, the hardest part is often finding the best way to get started. And that's where RealtorsRealEstateSchool.com can be a game changer. Realtors Real Estate School has the 50 years of know-how, the networking and resources to help you get started. Visit now for a free consultation. Again, that's RealtorsRealEstateSchool.com. You remember that amazing little cafe you discovered last summer, or that perfect hiking spot you heard about? Well, with the Overlook mobile app, you can create personal lists of places you've been, want to go, and always see everything on a map. Share your favorite hidden gems with friends and family. Or, keep your secret spots private for you. The best part, no ads cluttering your list and no one selling your interests or travel data. All you gotta do is download the free app at overlookmaps.com and check out overlookmaps.com/Chicago to see some of our personal favorite CityCast lists on a map and in your pocket. Overlookmaps.com. Collect and share the places that matter to you. Today on CityCast Chicago, we've still got at least a few weeks, I'm hoping a couple of months left in patio season, which means at least a few more weeks left of meeting, or if you like me, avoiding them patio dogs. All right, everybody don't attack me at once. As we are closing in on September, I was wondering, what's the proper etiquette for bringing your pet out to eat with you? My number one rule, leave them at home. But everybody ain't like me, so we've got a few tips. It's Wednesday, August 27th. I'm Jacoby Cochran, and this is what Chicago's talking about. CityCast contributor Leigh Giangreco went out to talk with diners and dog owners, and she's back to sit with executive producer Simone Alisea.
Leigh Giangreco, welcome back to CityCast Chicago.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So we sent you out to go learn about the etiquette around pets in restaurants. Feels like we see a lot of them. It's, getting the end to patio season here. But I'm curious, can you first let us know what are sort of the official rules and laws in Chicago about animals in restaurants?
So the rules in Chicago are pretty basic. If you have a place that serves food, like a restaurant, you are not supposed to have pets inside of there, any dogs in particular, unless they are service animals. So obviously, if you see somebody coming into a restaurant and they have a seeing-eye dog or something like that, that is allowed. The reason why you might see pets at bars is because if the bar doesn't serve food, then the dog is allowed inside there. I'm not really sure. There's this seemingly strange gray area where you can order food at a bar and a dog can be there. I'm not really sure what that is about. That could
be you're ordering delivery to the bar?
Yeah, but the dog can be there. But anyway, you can't make food on the premises and have a dog there. Now, of course, as we've seen many places, you can go to a restaurant, sit outside on a patio with your dog, and as long as the dog is well behaved, you can go and eat your food there because you're outdoors.
Are there any actually citywide rules about dogs and patios, or is that pretty much restaurant to restaurant different?
That, I believe, is restaurant to restaurant.
One thing I think is interesting, because I was looking up, because I think a lot of people think that you can't ask if an animal is a service animal. But I was looking it up, and on Chicago's website, it actually says businesses may ask if an animal is a service animal, or ask what tasks the animal has been trained to perform, but cannot require special ID cards for the animal or ask about the person's disability.
Yeah, that's just really funny to me to ask, what task can your dog do? Because I'm picturing, what if your dog does another fun task? That is not
related to
it's not service related.
Its job. Yeah.
It's interesting that you can ask that, but I don't blame a lot of these places for asking that, because I have seen many dogs that just waltz into places with their owners. I'm not going to put this coffee shop on blast.
Coffee shops in particular came up a couple times in the conversations you had.
Yes.
Of like places where they're maybe skirting the rules a little bit.
It really feels like that. Like this one coffee place I used to go to, I stopped going to because I saw it happen once and then I saw it happen again. And then a friend of mine mentioned it separately without me bringing it up, that dogs often come there and put their paws on the counter. Like I saw this happen with a large dog, and that is the equivalent of me as a human putting my feet on the counter. And I love dogs, to be clear, before we get into this conversation and people start painting me as Cruella de Vil. I love dogs. I grew up with the dogs. I live with the dog, Kevin. I love Kevin. He's a lab. But I also love rules, Simone. And I think there should be rules around where, your paws go.
Hey, I'm inclined to agree with you. I think, I definitely feel like I've been back in Chicago for the past 5 years or so. And even just in that time, I feel like I have seen way more dogs out and about in places. How common do you think it is for, especially on a summer day, to see dogs on the patio?
So that's funny you say in the past 5 years, because something that people brought up, at least two of the people that I interviewed, actually more than that, said that since COVID, more people are bringing their dogs out and about. That's probably in part due to the fact that pet ownership in general went up. At the start of the pandemic, a lot of people adopted pets. And so it would make sense then that if a lot of people adopted pets, they want to be out and about with them. I live in Roscoe Village, which is dog and baby central. If you go down Roscoe, there are literally bowls and jars of dog treats and biscuits at almost every single business, coffee shop, restaurant, because the owners know that people love their dogs and they want to not only cater to the dogs, but cater to the people that own them, because that is good business. And I see a lot of that in Chicago. I think also the prevalence of places like beer gardens that are not only dog friendly, but kid friendly. You see the rise in that. So people are going to those places more because they can bring their pets. I work at a farmer's market in Lincoln Park, and let me tell you, people bring their dogs everywhere. Some are trained and some are not. I will put it that way. So I think dog ownership and dog, companionship, just this idea that you don't leave the dog at home or the dog only goes to the park with you. It's now the dog is going shopping with me. The dog is going to the restaurant or the bar. Wherever you are going, you now have your dog as almost an accessory or a sidekick, however you want to call it.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the dog owners you spoke with while you were out in Roscoe Village. What were some of the sort of common do's and don'ts they told you about?
Yeah, so I think some of them were pretty basic. Keep your dog on a leash. Make sure that your dog is well behaved at a restaurant. If you have the type of dog that is going to bark incessantly at other dogs or is not friendly with other people, you probably shouldn't bring them there. One of the people that I ran into, Ryan Bravo, and his dog, he had a Chihuahua mix. He actually says that he doesn't bring the dog out with him, in part because he's not good out at patios and restaurants.
Gus never goes to a restaurant because he gets spooked easily by people he doesn't know. So it's safest for him and everyone else to just stay home. It was stressing him out to be in that kind of environment, and it was stressful for us too. And we probably do takeout more often than we would if he could go to a restaurant, but for other people's safety, if he were to try to nip at them, and for his own, like, we don't want him to get into trouble, so he can stay at home where he's comfortable and happy and can lay on the couch, and then we'll come back and then he can have some snuggles.
Another person you spoke with, Andrew, and had his dog Garth, I believe, had another really good tip when it comes to like interacting with dogs at the patio.
I mean, if we're outside, I always want to make sure if there's other animals there that they also can work, like the dogs can get along.
Yeah.
So I usually ask other dog owners, like, is your pet friendly? Is it okay if they meet with each other? I mean, obviously the first thing I do is ask the restaurant if it is pet friendly. We go online and look, and then when we're there, we just say, hey, want to confirm our dog can be on the patio.
Okay.
And then once we see other dogs, it's, hey, are they cool if he comes up and sniffs them and stuff like that?
We have to keep in mind that the etiquette is not only for the animal. I think people need to know etiquette too. Even if you have a friendly, well-behaved dog, always ask if you can pet somebody's dog. You know, if you have kids, like I know my niece loves petting dogs and is still learning how to do that properly in a gentle way. So I think that goes for that too. But his dog likes to beg. But I think there's a big difference in bringing a dog to a restaurant who begs, meaning they just stare at you.
With the puppy dog eyes, like, oh, please give me some food, please.
You know, if you have a dog who begs, the staring dog is fine, but the like whimpering or barking dog, maybe that's not a restaurant dog that you should bring out and about.
Yeah, and I think it was Desbra who had a doodle mix and a Shih Tzu. She had a couple of small dogs.
Yeah, she had two. I think one was
like a Shiba Doodle, I feel like. It was a weird
Shiba
one.
Doodle. That was it. Yes.
Yes. But I really appreciated that she was one of the only people who was really adamant about, like, dogs should absolutely be on a leash.
Well, I think they definitely should always be on a leash, no matter what, even no matter how friendly they are and well trained they are. They should be on a leash because they are animals and you just never know. Be aware. Don't just ignore them because they'll also pick up anything that's on the street or whatever. So you don't want them to ingest anything that could be dangerous. So you really need to be conscious of what's all around you at all times.
I do feel like that's something that I see dog owners get very loosey-goosey with on a patio.
Yeah, especially if you're on a patio that is an enclosed area and they feel like, oh, the dog won't go in the street because it's in a safe spot. Yeah, you still need to have your dog on a leash. She had her dogs with her on her lap while she was drinking a margarita, having a great time.
Right, Eddie? There was a time we couldn't even take you guys in stores. Come on. I know you want to come up. Can you come up? Come on. Good boy.
Out on the patio in front at Village Tap, which another dog owner told me that Village Tap, you can take your dog to the front patio, which is on the sidewalk, but not the back patio, because that would mean you are taking your dog through the restaurant, which I guess gets to, you know, that rule of dogs are not supposed to be in the places where the food is made, which I think makes sense. There was another guy that I spoke to at Village Tap who didn't think there was a big difference between...
Oh, Scott. Scott is my favorite. I want to talk about Scott.
Yeah, Scott was he was very pro-dog. I told him I was working on the story and he was thrilled to talk to me.
I'm a big advocate that everything should be dog friendly.
And so why is that?
I believe that the idea of separating a dog, it would be the idea of saying, hey, you have to be separated from your partner or your son, your child here. So most places are kid friendly. I think as many places should be dog friendly.
Yeah.
He has a huge separation anxiety. So he's almost causing more of a disturbance when I'm not with him than when I'm with him.
Okay.
Scott with the dog Goose, who sounded like was a small dog that he was holding most of the time.
He was holding him like an infant. It was adorable.
And Scott himself has a dog allergy. As he described, and was sort of like, I take a pill for it. Like, you could do that for grass. I think that's just what you should do. And yeah, he felt very, very strongly about being able to take Goose to places and kind of felt like he should kind of be able to do whatever.
He said that he has seen some humans out and about that are not as clean as his dog, which, like, it is at the end of the day an animal. So I understand why there are rules about having animals inside of places where you make food. Like, you got to draw the line somewhere. Also, to the point of he has an allergy and he just takes a pill, I don't think that you can put that on other people who might also have allergies or honestly might also have traumatic experiences with dogs. There are some people who just don't like dogs or have been attacked by dogs in the past, have some sort of anxiety around dogs, and you can't impose that on people. And again, I say that as a dog lover, but I do think that is something that you need to keep in mind.
You're going to want to bring your tissues for this fascinating theater pick. Come From Away is at Paramount Theater in Aurora. The show is based on a true story, y'all, of a small town in Newfoundland that took in nearly, get this, 7,000 stranded passengers from over 100 countries after planes were grounded because of the 9/11 attacks. 38 of those planes, international flights, landed in Gander, the town that welcomed the world. Nominated for 7 Tony Awards, including Best Musical and Best Original Score, the Chicago area premiere offers a simple message that kindness can and should reach across all borders. Experience the small town generosity. Come From Away runs August 20th through October 12th in downtown Aurora. Don't wait. Get your tickets today at ParamountAurora.com. So the North Shore Center for the Performing Arts got a bunch of comedy acts coming through this month, and I think the team has coined the perfect tongue twister log line for it. Y'all ready? Skokie Seriously Side Split in September. Gonna say that 3 times fast because they've got 3 shows you don't want to miss. On September the 6th, they got the legend Caroline Rhea in the building. Well, she a legend to me because I remember her as Aunt Hilda from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. On September 20th, Emmy nominee and the only Olympics commentator I want to hear from, Leslie Jones, is coming to blow the roof off that mug. Then on September 27th, Paula Poundstone is closing out the month, bringing that same razor sharp wit that she does to Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com for the best deals and most reliable pricing, or stop by the North Shore Center box office in Skokie, open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 5, and Sundays 2 hours before showtime. All right, is it just me or is the weather already starting to turn? And I ain't just talking about them thunderstorms. It's definitely cooler than the last time I told you about Window Nation's most popular deal, which means you shouldn't wait to take advantage. This month, get 50% off all window styles. You heard me correctly, half off. And August ends this week, so seriously, go ahead and do it now. You can replace your old windows with custom-built, high-quality new ones that'll protect your home year-round. Installment only takes a day or less. Plus, Window Nation offers a lifetime warranty on all their windows, so you can rest protected. Seriously, if this has been on your to-do list the last couple weeks or months, go ahead and knock it out now. Schedule your fast free estimate with Window Nation. Call 866-90-NATION or head to windownation.com.
It's interesting when we were talking about this story among the CityCast Chicago team, and I was like, what annoys you about dogs in on patios in particular, like out and about? People were saying like when dogs aren't on a leash and people don't curb their dogs and people just think their dog can kind of be out. Also, if it's a patio where there are a lot of dogs and like you have to navigate and walk around that, and also servers who have to navigate and walk around that.
Again, it feels like some of these patios have become, some are specifically marketed toward dogs, but a lot of them, like sort of the beer gardens, have become just these havens for dogs and also babies and kids and everything. That was another thing. I think
there was a lot of comparisons to children.
There were so many comparisons to children, which I'm not going to bring that up because I'm not going to be that person, but a lot of people brought it up.
It was very interesting. People brought it up in several different contexts. There were people who brought it up in the context of Roscoe Village, where it was like, well, you either got a dog or a child or both. Like,
which is so true. I live in a 3-flat. My flat has a dog, and the 2 flats above us have dogs.
Sure.
Next door to me has a dog. The next house doesn't have a dog. The house after that has a dog.
I totally believe it. And it was so interesting, the comparisons people drew between having kids in restaurants. And it was sort of like one of the folks who worked at the restaurants that you spoke with, who said something to the effect of like, if people are annoyed by, like a kid crying in a restaurant, like it's like not so much an issue with the kid necessarily, but you have the parents and the people are trying to like navigate that. And it's like similar if you have a dog, maybe that's barking, if like that is the issue, if it's a noise issue, right? I think, again, the big difference is a dog is an animal that can bite, that can hurt you.
Right. Well, hey, I've been bitten by kids too. Don't even get me started on that.
It's also really interesting to hear people talk about the difference between like a big dog and a small dog. Like there does seem to be like a lot, like if your dog is small, you can get away with a lot, it seems like.
Because I've seen so many people, and I'm not going to lie, like my parents and I have done this too. Like they have a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel that's 13 pounds and like, we'll just kind of pop him in a bag.
Goes in the big tote bag, right? And he's fine.
Yeah, and he pops his head up and you're like, oh, that's the dog? What? We didn't know we were bringing this in. Whereas, yeah, it's not the same with like a giant lab. But yeah, the comparisons to kids are interesting because one, at the end of the day, like a child is a human, a baby is a human, and also the amount of shedding that kids do, which tends to be little.
Which also gets back to the health issue, right? It's like, I don't want dog hair in my food. I just don't.
Right.
As I mentioned, you also spoke with, some folks who are working at these restaurants, managers, owners, bartenders. What did they tell you about kind of how they approach dogs in the space?
Yeah. So it was interesting. And again, maybe this was self-selecting because I was in Roscoe Village. So this is the place that, as I mentioned, has a huge dog population, so it's in the interest of the business owners and the people who work at these restaurants to be dog friendly. One of the restaurant workers that I spoke with, the GM at Le Sud, said that he's been working in the industry in Chicago for over 20 years and has seen this explosion kind of post-COVID and people who bring their dogs everywhere.
So we've integrated our pets into our lives a lot more than prior to 2021. And I think that restaurants and bars, public spaces that serve the public are the ones that are successful or the ones that have kind of pivoted into catering to that demographic of people. So if you're a pet lover, that's a great thing. If you're not, I suppose it might be a nuisance. But I never get people asking if there are pets allowed on the patio that don't want to be near pets. It's always just people who want to bring their dogs.
Aaron Morales, the general manager at Le Sud.
A lot of people that I spoke with actually said that the dog owners were really polite. Something else that he talked about is, restaurants kind of making larger patios or making sure that they have enough space for people's dogs. He also tries to like seat people away from a dog or mention ahead of time, like, hey, this table is available, but it's next to a dog. Are you cool with that? Because some people actually want to be near a dog and some people, again, do not.
Another person you spoke with, the owner of Pizza Emilia, Mike, actually had kind of a scary story about something that had happened outside that restaurant.
So you got to be a little careful with that because we had somebody bite a customer, but it wasn't, the customer kind of went at the dog. So, obviously it's the dog's fault, dog owner's fault, but...
that's not on you at all as like the business owner of the premises.
Yeah, but I think it's just, just be careful. Dogs have that, again, they make people hug them and love them and get up close to them. But you have to really check with the owner first, and you never know what's going on in the dog's like mindset at that moment.
Yeah, I think this gets to what I was saying before is that dog etiquette goes both ways. If you are at a patio restaurant, just because you see a dog does not automatically mean, oh, let me go up to this dog. Should always ask the owner, is your dog friendly? Can I pet your dog? And then, the the way that I do it is like put your hand out first and let the dog smell you.
Do a little sniff. You spoke to a bartender, Tyler, who also had a good tip, specifically if you've got puppies.
If you have a younger puppy or a younger dog, I would just recommend that they're potty trained, or at least they've used the bathroom before coming in. I've been lucky enough to not have to clean up any dog pee or poo on the patio or whatnot, but I would highly suggest to try and make sure that your dog isn't the type to do that.
That was not even something that I thought of. But
you just assume, right? You assume
right,
that that's
if the dog
case,
is
if the
there,
dog's out and about. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you should make sure that they are potty trained. And again, puppies have to go out every 2 minutes because they are so tiny.
That is sort of the cardinal sin, I think. If your dog is eliminating waste. It was so funny because when I was first thinking about the story, I was mostly thinking about other patrons, right? And people who maybe don't have dogs and how everyone's navigating that. But it wasn't really until one of the people you spoke with, Brandon, with his dog Waffles.
Mm-hmm.
Great dog name.
Great golden retriever, by the way. Awesome. Very
oh my
chill.
Gosh. So sweet. I love that. You met so many good boys and girls on this adventure. Brandon was one of those people who was like, hey, I don't want my server to pet my dog either.
I did not even think of that.
Yes.
And that is actually a great point. That if you handle food, you probably shouldn't pet the dog.
So, you're someone who loves dogs, but you love rules.
Right.
I love health. Established, we love health. Yes. How after going on this journey, how do you feel about seeing dogs on patios? Are you more wary, less wary, excited? What's your disposition?
On patios, I'm great with it. Don't bring your dog into a restaurant. I guess I feel fine with a dog at a bar because most of the time, if you're in a bar that allows dogs, it's like a dive bar, right? Like
or it's
Cody's,
breweries where everything is like
breweries.
encased in stuff,
Correct. So I'm fine with it. Again, I think my only beef with dogs is like when people bring their dogs into a place like a coffee shop and just kind of let the dogs run amok. And when the owners like give into that, like don't reward the dog for being in the place. Be firm but gentle. There are rules, and, just remind people that, like, this is a city ordinance. It's not them being anti-dog. It's not anything personal. It's just we have health codes for a reason, and we should respect them.
Thanks so much, Leigh. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Simone.
Before we get out of here, please do me a favor and bookmark our website, chicago.citycast.fm. There you can subscribe to our daily newsletter, Hey Chicago. Sign up to join our CityCast Chicago Neighbors program, and you can check out our packed events calendar. Of course, I can't let you go without some good news. This week, 2 amazing events are happening across the city, including Respect the Mic, the city's most intimate opening mic. That's going down tomorrow night at Monday Coffee. I'll drop a link in the show notes. And then this Saturday, the birthday edition of Art Therapy. There's going to be sound healing, meditation, open mic, jam sessions, and so much more. I'll drop the link to both of these in our show notes. As always, we appreciate you for listening and reading. We're going to be back bright and early tomorrow. We'll talk to you then. Peace.
And I am pro dog, everyone. Please don't come at me in the comments. I am pro dog.
I really don't know who's gonna comment more on this. If it's going to be the dog owners who are like, no, please don't come between my precious baby and anybody, or if it's the people who really don't like dogs who are like, you guys are too nice and these dog owners are out of control. Because I feel like both populations exist in loud numbers here in Chicago.
Oh yeah, for sure. The dog owners might tip it a little bit more, but we will see.
We'll see. We'll find out after this comes out.